Are men and women different?
100%. They're different in every way. I've seen men and women as a doctor, like physically, biochemically, in every single way, anatomically, so different. That's just one thing, though. But also psychologically, we think differently.
Yeah.
We behave differently. We have different logic centers, different emotional centers, different regulatory centers. So of course we're different in many, many ways.
But it feels like in the Western world that men and women, are competing for the same thing.
Yeah.
They want you're working, I'm working also, I'm bringing food home, like etc. It becomes that sort of competition, and it feels like that competition can sometimes stop you from getting ahead.
Yeah.
And it seemed like misogynist if you say certain
Yeah.
things, where you just think, hey, look, if I do this and you do that, wouldn't this make more sense? Like,
Yeah.
for example, I come from a family where, the women will go and, make sure the food is ready,
Yeah.
your clothes are ready, your gym bag's ready, everything. This podcast thing is all ready. You know what I mean? Like, they would do that sort of side, make sure the kids are looked after and clean and do their role. Whereas your job is they look at you and go, I need money to go and buy the food. I need to. Is the mortgage paid? Is my car paid for?
Exactly.
Is that? And then it just sort of all falls in place where it's clearly defined, but it doesn't seem that way,
Yeah.
especially in the Western
The
world.
West is blurring the boundaries, and deliberately so. So go back to 200 years, Victorian times, yeah? Let's look at Britain, because Punjab, Pakistan, parts of Africa are still agrarian. Agrarian meaning they're self-subsisting. They are self-sustaining. They've got their own patch of land. They've got everything there. So they're agrarian cultures. But that was very much the case in the West as well. So you own your land, you made your own food, you fed your family. That's it. No taxes. There's no need for money. The only money you'd have is trade of commodities. You talked about assets and liabilities. You trade the commodities. So he's got some cheese, I've got apples. We just trade it amongst each other. We don't actually have store of wealth. There's no store of wealth. Okay, and then Industrial Revolution came. Adam Smith, Wealth of Nations. Read the book. We had a store of wealth called the banking system. Okay, taxes, loans, interest, etc. Usury. So to get more tax, because at that time only 50% of the people worked, and that was who? Men and boys. Girls and women didn't work. So only 50% of the people worked up until the 1920s and 30s, where men went to war, Second World War, First World War. Even women then didn't really work. They worked in factories, but then when the men came back, in the 50s, the baby boomer generation, women still didn't work. Then in the 50s, you had first wave feminism, which says, women are equal to men. But first wave feminism didn't come from itself. It came, again, we talk about the deep state. The deep state looked at society at large and say, how can we get 50% more taxes? How can we get 50% more taxation? At the moment, 50% of the working force aren't working. So how can we get these people to work? So they created feminism. First wave, women are equal to men. Women should work like men. So when they start working, more taxes. It's actually not about female rights or female empowerment. It goes back to money again. Money rules the world.
Yeah, but how do you tell somebody that who's born into this system now, they think you're being misogynistic, like, how dare you tell me not to work hard? This is what I want to do. This is what I've studied for. I'll have my children later. It's like a whole different total mindset. It's like it's programmed now.
It's programmed, so people are being conditioned to think that this is what they want, but deep down, it's not what they want. It is against their nature to do this.
So how do they find out what they want actually truly? So if somebody's lost right now and saying, hey, I'm doing everything that I'm supposed to have done, I've done my degree, I'm in my job, I just don't feel right. There's something wrong here.
Yeah, because they're drinking dirty water. And what is that dirty water? That is the matrix, right? They're drinking from the contaminated, as in, talk about the pill, right? The matrix, the blue pill, the red pill.
Yeah.
If you're having the blue pill, as in this is what you know, everything around you is corrupting you and poisoning you and making you a conformist robot to not question. When you start questioning, you feel sick. Why am I questioning? Am I strange? Like everyone's working. You're supposed to work. You're supposed to go to university. You're supposed to. This is what I want to do. It's a fallacy. It's actually not what you want to do. It's what you've been designed to do from society, but it's not what you want to do inherently. Ask your great grandmother if that's what she wanted to do. Get a master's degree, work 9 to 5, become a corporate lady, and climb the career ladder. This is not me being misogynistic. It's just me stating the facts. This whole female workforce has been concocted to bolster the economy, because it would make sense for 50% of the people to work, as in 50% more to work.
I mean, proud moment for us was when my grandma was around. It was like seeing her 3 sons, her 17 grandchildren, and then about 6 great grandchildren. And we said that one created all of this.
Yeah, exactly.
And she was really successful. She was respected. We'd always like touch her feet.
Yeah,
and you see
of course,
that sort of respect. And that's all she wanted, who's respecting me. And she's like the leader in a way. But she was still a leader. She was still a woman who was the driving workforce, who created all of these millionaires, who created all these great grandchildren. And she was always the go-to when somebody stepped out of line and goes, we're going to go and see your grandma. And they were like, oh no, like it was just that sort of hierarchy, but that's kind of lost now.
It's lost, because that's what they want. Because hierarchy creates rules and structures which are against the matrix. The matrix wants disorder, chaos, anarchy. In the sense that family structures to be dissolved. Because if you've got family structures which are dissolved, both men and women are working. Their children are being raised by the state. Then you can program the next generation. And the next generation,
and they're just on scrolling now. It's weird for somebody in the new generation who's 17 now. It's like leaving the house without their underpants on if they haven't got an iPad in their hand, because they're actually born with that. Anyone after mid 2000s, like 2002, 2005, they're born with an iPad now. So when you take that thing away, they're like a bit, what do I do?
Yeah, exactly.
And sometimes it's like talking to robots nowadays.
Yeah, exactly. It's part of their DNA now.